Every AI you have ever used runs on chips made by one company. That company is on one island. That island is at the center of one of the most geopolitically tense regions on Earth. TSMC just posted record revenue. Which means the entire AI economy just became even more dependent on it. Here is why this matters to you, even if you have never heard of TSMC. Quick disclosure before we go further. Most of what you're about to hear is real, well-documented history and industry structure, TSMC's dominance, Morris Chang's story, the Taiwan risk. But this video also cites specific figures from a single source report, a Q2 2026 record revenue claim, specific capital spending numbers, and a couple of specific corporate deals. Those specific figures are not independently verified. This is not investment advice. Verify current numbers yourself before making any financial decision. Now, here's the story. Here's why you've probably never heard of TSMC. It doesn't sell you anything directly. You can't buy a TSMC product in a shop. You buy an iPhone, Apple designed it. You buy an NVIDIA GPU, NVIDIA designed it. TSMC manufactured the chip inside, both times. It's the manufacturer no one sees. The factory behind nearly every major tech brand. Here's the actual business. Designing a chip and manufacturing a chip are two completely different businesses. NVIDIA designs chips. It doesn't make them. Apple designs chips. It doesn't make them. Google designs chips. It doesn't make them. They all go to TSMC. TSMC turns a design into physical silicon, billions of transistors on a wafer the size of a dinner plate. At the frontier, chips below 5 nanometers, the ones frontier AI needs, only TSMC can do this at real commercial scale. A 3 nanometer transistor is so small, 10,000 of them could fit across a single human hair. That precision needs machines so advanced, only one company builds them, ASML, in the Netherlands. TSMC buys nearly all of those machines. Two companies hold the real choke point. ASML makes the tools. TSMC uses them. Here's roughly how dominant that actually is. Here's why a record quarter is genuinely big news, reportedly. Every AI announcement, a new model, a new data center, a new training run, eventually becomes a chip order at TSMC. A reported record quarter, reportedly, confirms those announcements are turning into real physical orders. Massive capital spending pledges from the largest tech companies, reportedly, all route through TSMC's fabs. That reported record revenue is physical proof the AI build-out is real, not just slides and press releases. Here's the pattern worth noticing. Model prices keep falling as AI labs compete on price. But the hardware layer underneath keeps compounding. The chip makers are thriving, reportedly, even as the model layer fights on price. Here's who actually depends on this one company. Now, the part that should concern you. Taiwan is a self-governing island of 23 million people. It sits roughly 160 kilometers from mainland China. China considers Taiwan part of China, and has not renounced the use of force to unify with it. The US has long-standing commitments to Taiwan's defense. That combination makes the Taiwan Strait one of the most closely watched flashpoints on Earth. Now add TSMC. The company making roughly 90% of the world's most advanced chip sits on that exact island. This has been called Taiwan's Silicon Shield. Its chip importance makes disrupting it extremely costly for anyone. Here's the risk to you personally. If TSMC's operations were disrupted for any reason, the 2021 chip shortage would look minor by comparison. That shortage spiked car prices and emptied electronics shelves. A TSMC disruption would be orders of magnitude larger. Here's the timeline everyone is racing against. There's a genuinely remarkable human story underneath this. Morris Chang was born in China, in 1931. He studied engineering in the United States. By the 1980s, he was a senior executive at Texas Instruments, a major U.S. chip company. When Texas Instruments passed him over for the top job, deciding, at 54, that he was too old to lead, he left. Taiwan's government invited him to start a semiconductor company there. He founded TSMC in 1987, at 55 years old. He invented the foundry model, a company that only manufactures chips others design. That model is now the foundation of the entire global chip industry. The US passed him over. He built the company the US now depends on entirely. Here's the diversification race, reportedly underway. TSMC Arizona is already producing chips on US soil, reportedly, with more advanced production coming. Intel is investing heavily in Ohio to try to close the gap. Samsung, in South Korea, is already a competitor at some chip sizes. The honest timeline, reportedly, competitive domestic alternatives are realistically years away, somewhere around 2028 to 2030. The gap between now and then is the period of maximum concentration risk. That's reportedly the period we're currently in. One company. One island. Roughly 90% of the world's most advanced chips. The good news, the AI build-out appears genuinely real, reportedly, not just announcements. The risk, it all runs through a single point of failure. Governments are racing to address it, the CHIPS Act, new fabs, new partnerships. They haven't addressed it yet. Understanding that gap is worth more than any single quarterly headline. Subscribe for daily AI coverage. Comment, did you know TSMC made the chip in your phone, and in every AI model you've ever used? Does the Taiwan concentration risk concern you? Tell me below, I read every comment.